it was called a fight because it happened in my cell and they couldn't see what happened, but that's what happened. I got hit with a lock in my face and my orbital floor was fractured in 6 different places and I needed to have surgery. That was one of the tickets. Yeah. And then the second ticket, I'm not gonna lie, right after I had surgery and I was in medical for February to March, from November to March, the girl that hit me with the lock tried to confront me and say something to me. And it was like all over again, nothing like I had something to say. And I can admit to that. But as far as the getting kicked out of programs,
well, ladies and gentlemen, Mandalorians, you know what time it is. It is Connecticut man. Well, actually, I guess I got it. It's not technically a man baby. It's what do we say? Do we say lady baby? This is new to me. I mean, it's not totally new. I'm sure we've seen the lady baby hearings before, but this one, it is interesting. You know, she's got a long criminal history. We've seen that, but also her criminal record in prison. I guess we got to call it more like her write-ups. 40 write-ups. The lock in the sock victim over here. But if she got the write-up, by the way, there's no way that she was just the poor victim. You don't get a write-up when you are the one that gets the worst end of the lock in the sock. So no, she is no Beba Angel Aladdin, as actual Justice Warrior likes to say. Anyways, there are twists and turns throughout today's hearings and dockets, so be sure to stick around for every single one of them because this is the Mandoo channel and we don't just show hearings, we show, I don't know, I was going to say something poetic, but I don't know. Just stick around, okay? All right, I'll see you later.
Maria Roman, 258420.
Hearing being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Maria Roman in for 25820. She's serving a sentence of 4 years incarceration for 1 count of possession of intent and 2 counts of sale of firearms. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date May 29th, 2025. There is forgiveness. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It's been reviewed, shows that she is considered to utilize the Women's Needs Assessment Board. The offender's overall score for recidivity falls in the moderate range. Ms. Roman, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you granted parole. You may begin.
Good morning. Thank you for granting me this opportunity to stand before you today to speak to you on my behalf. I want to start off by taking full responsibility for my actions that led to my incarceration. I want to apologize to my victims, my community, and I want to ask my children for their forgiveness for leaving them when they needed me the most. These 2 years have shown and taught me a better way of living. I held down 2 jobs here, laundry and medical intake worker. One where I had a set schedule, the other where I could be wakened at any time of day or night to work, and I admire them both. The skills and work ethics that I've learned has allowed me to understand the rewards that it brings. While in prison, I attended the Tier 2 program, which has helped me understand that I had an addiction to selling drugs, and that was a big issue for me. Today, I can say I deserve and want better for myself, my children, and my community. My daughter and family are my biggest supporters. I will be living with my godmother who encouraged me and my positive lifestyles, who pushes me in all the positive directions. I will be going back to work at Emirates Home Healthcare in Waterbury as a full-time PCA, while continuing my healthcare product I started here at YCI, Maria's Hair Care Cream. Investing in my hair care cream is something I want to do on my free time. I want to be able to go back to my community, the one that I once destroyed, and help restore it with the help with a nonprofit organization called Free Her. Willing to do any programs parole see fit for me. Seeing a therapist once I am released from prison. Being a Muslim helps me with structure and being obedient. Finding a mosque and continuing my faith. I've changed myself for the better, and I pray that you see the changes that I made and will continue to keep making. Thank you for allowing me to share my letter with you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Roman, for your statement. We have some questions for you, and then we'll deliberate and give you our decision. If I'm honest with you, I don't quite see the change, Ms. Roman. The dilemma that I have is that you've been selling drugs for decades now, and you say it's because of your drug use, and then you come to prison and you're removed from the best drug program that they have, Tier 4, also removed from parenting. I mean, you're removed from programming for threatening other inmates. You received a poor evaluation, which we never see. Everybody's either good or excellent in prison, so it's very hard to get a poor evaluation. So you haven't taken programs. You've gotten 2 tickets for fighting and flagrant disobedience. So I don't see the change. If I'm being very honest with you, I would need for you to do more, given your history of selling drugs. Go ahead.
The tickets that I didn't get into a fight. I was assaulted and hit with a lock. And I had my orbital floor reconstructed and in jail. Okay. That's one of the tickets. It was called a fight.
Ticket. I
understand. It was called a fight because it happened in my cell and they couldn't see what happened, but that's what happened. I got hit with a lock in my face and my orbital floor was fractured in 6 different places and I needed to have surgery. That was one of the tickets. Yeah. And then the second ticket, I'm not gonna lie, right after I had surgery and I was in medical for February to March, from November to March, the girl that hit me with the lock tried to confront me and say something to me. And it was like all over again, nothing, like I had something to say. And I can admit to that. But as far as the getting kicked out of programs, I had a parenting group that I didn't complete. And then I did complete 2 different parenting programs that my counselor told me to complete. And I did. I completed 2 different parenting programs that I did on my own because I wanted to show that I can complete 2 parenting programs. And I did it on my own.
Program, and you shouldn't have been removed from one.
I didn't get removed from one. I had a poor grade from one, and then I did 2 to complete so that I can show that I can do it. And I did do them. I completed 2 other parenting programs, and then I did a Tier 2 program, and I completed successfully with no problems.
Listen, we have your records. We know what you did. Why were you removed from Tier 4?
I was removed from Tier 4 with no prejudice because she said that I wouldn't comply with the program, but I would comply with the program. She said that she didn't see any change in me. And then I went to a Tier 2 program and I finished excellent. And I finished with all excellence.
Tier 2 is not Tier 4. Do you understand the difference?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. Most people appreciate being in the Tier 4 program. It's the best program that we have there. You understand that?
Yes.
There's a wait for people to get in there.
Yes, I understand.
So why were you removed?
I was removed because she said that the criteria for me didn't fit.
Okay, so the threatening other inmates was never a factor?
I never threatened any inmates.
Okay, very good. Mr. Rodriguez, we'll turn it over
Madam
to you.
Chair,
Thank you.
we obviously have conflicting information, obviously. So, I'm also challenged by the fact that she was removed from that program as well. I think something she could have used and would have needed and would have been very helpful for her at this particular point in time. I don't have any additional questions.
Ms. Smith-Palmieri.
So, Ms. Roman, you've had a long history of substance abuse. Is Tier 2 the first substance abuse program you've ever done?
Yes, it was the first program that I ever got to do. And to be honest with you, at first I was scared to do it. I didn't understand myself when I first got here. It was hard to learn yourself when you come here and you get clean and sober. It was hard to being you and to learn yourself here when you're clean and sober and you're forced to do everything that you never done before. So going into Tier 4, I was scared. I was abrasive. I didn't know how to act. I didn't know how to deal with myself. So when I got put into a situation where my back was against the wall and I didn't know how to act, I was scared. I was defensive. And then when I got put out the program, I didn't know how to deal with myself, and I had to learn myself. And then going into tier 2 and learning how to deal with me, my substance abuse, my behavior, and I got to see the ugliness inside myself and got to learn myself and to learn how to talk and to relearn myself all over again and learn the ugliness and the truth about myself. I had to deal with that, and I love that program, and it helped me learn myself, and it helped me learn my ugliness, my truth, and who I was and what I was becoming, and I had to change everything.
Okay. So, you have 2 disciplinary reports this time, but you have 40 overall. So I mean, you've been incarcerated before, so
Yes.
how to what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So you should, and you're 44 years old, so
Yes,
you should be
ma'am.
able to avoid a lot of these situations. The thing that struck me the most was when you said, I completed tier 2 and I learned my addiction to selling drugs. We would hope that you would have learned about your addiction to drugs. I guess that was most concerning for me. I do think that you have seems like a thoughtful plan to go out in the community, attend meetings. You have family for support. I do think that you need to think a little bit more about what you're going to do in the community. I also agree with my colleagues that you would benefit from some more programming. And I know that you still have new thoughts on your OAP.
Yes, I've been writing to get in new thoughts since 2023, and I'm on the waiting list. But every time that we write, they say that we're on the waiting list. So I just been writing and waiting and writing and waiting. So that's one thing that I was trying to get into before the parole hearing.
Yep, and we know that many people write. I'm going to point out one thing to you. So you see how you're on the waiting list and you keep writing and you keep asking to get in there? Think of how many people are writing and waiting to get into tier 4, and you kind of squandered the opportunity, which is unfortunate for you, because I think you probably would have done really well in there.
I'm not gonna lie about that. I probably would have did wonderful there, but
you
I lost out on a good program. I'm not gonna debate on that. I could have did wonderful there. But when I first got here, I was fighting my own demons and battling with my own self. And I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna say you're not wrong. I understand that. But that's something I have to deal with and I have to learn. I came here and I was sabotaging my own self. And I get that. But I'm learning and I'm trying hard to get where I'm trying to be now. And I'm trying to be a better person, not just for myself, but my future self. And I'm learning. It took a long time for me to get here to say that. And I'm learning and I'm trying. And I'm trying to be a better person. And I am. It took a long time for me to get here to say that. A long time for me to ask for the help. And I'm trying. I'm trying.
Ms. Roman, we appreciate your honesty. You're trying to figure out, what your next steps are in life. And I hope that, you continue to think about what's important to you. You mentioned your children, and it seems like you put yourself out there for some other parenting classes so that you could be a better parent. So I wish you the best of luck. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Just one more thing. Did I read that you were driving to Virginia to get your drugs?
When I was getting high, I used to have someone drive me to go get the drug that I was using. Yes.
In Virginia? Was that in Virginia?
Yes.
How often did you do that?
I would say like twice a month.
Okay. All right. I mean, that's not down the street. right? Just
You're
imagine if you
absolutely
used,
right.
let's imagine if you use that time to educate yourself so that you could get a better job or to spend with your children.
You're absolutely right.
Time better spent, right? Give us a few minutes to discuss your case and we'll come back to you shortly. I'm not going to belabor this. I think I put my opinion out there already. It's a deny for me. So it would be a matter of whether there's time to bring her back and see if she can change things around. She's not there yet. You know, we're not even taking full responsibility for all of our actions. I've heard excuses for everything that's gone wrong here. There's work to be done, but do we have the time is the question. Mr. Rodriguez?
Well, I'm in the same place, Madam Chair. I mean, I absolutely believe there's work to be done. This particular, and I guess she acknowledges that there's work to be done. I think. I don't think she's, I think she accepts the fact that
Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to put her back in tier 4.
Yeah.
Once you're removed from the program, there's
Yeah.
a ton of people waiting, but Miss
she-
Palmieri, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with everything that's already been said. I would be interested in giving Ms. Roman an opportunity to come back. She does have new thoughts still on her
Yeah.
program. She could come back without any disciplinary reports, maybe in March of 2026. That would give her a year on discretionary parole if she were to be granted. I have an end of sentence date of March 2027.
Okay.
So that's what, 10 months out?
Yeah.
Okay, I can do that. All right, in the matter of Maria Roman, amendment number 258420, I'll make a motion to deny parole at this time, but we'll rehear the case in March of 2026. Denials for the following reasons: inadequate program participation, inadequate evidence of offender change. Anything you want to add, my colleagues? Poor institutional adjustment
Yeah.
and poor institutional adjustment. We'll rehear the case with the recommendation that you continue to complete additional programs and avoid any further disciplinary reports. Anything further? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you understand, Ms. Roman?
Yes.
We're going to bring you back. Let's see what you can do. Good luck
All
to you.
right. Thank you.
A denial, but a rehearing. And ladies and gentlemen, Mandalorians, we are not going to have to wait a year for the rehearing because that year has already passed. So we are going to jump in and watch it right now. Make sure to leave a comment for Sir Richard. Say thank you, Sir Richard, for making these incredible spreadsheets, connecting the dots to make it easy to do these follow-up cases. I think we're the only channel on YouTube that does this. Yes, we're shadow banned. Yes, no one is really seeing these videos anymore, but I'm doing it here for you because I love you all very much. Anyways, I digress. Do you think that she did well, passed the programs, got any more tickets? I haven't seen the second hearing. I will tell you this. I do not believe that she did things perfectly with flying colors, but I believe the parole board will parole her anyways. I will say she got tickets. I don't think she can help herself. I'm not even convinced she'll finish the program that she needs to, but let's find out. I've been wrong many times before, so let's jump in.
Maria Roman, 258420.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Maria Roman, inmate number 258420. She is serving a sentence of 4 years incarceration for 1 count of possession with intent, 2 counts of sales of narcotics. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date of April 20th, 2025. There is no victim input in the case. There's offender accountability plan has been reviewed and shows that she has completed tier 2 beyond violence and voices. Utilizing the women's risk needs assessment, awarded the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the moderate range. Throw this to your opportunity or more value granted. Maybe.
Good morning. I have a letter that I would like to read to you today.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you for granting me this opportunity to stand before you today and speak to you on my behalf. I would like to start by taking full responsibility for my actions that led to my incarceration. I know that my decision have harmed many individuals with the poison that I was selling. I want to apologize to my victims, my community for failing them, to my children for leaving them when they needed me the most. When I first walked through these doors, I didn't think it was possible that I could leave the street life alone or even behind me. because I was being selfish. With everything that I've learned and have come to accept, I now know today that I want and deserve a better life for myself. I want to do right for Maria, to become a productive member of society. While in prison, I attended Tier 2. It helped me understand why I was chasing an addiction that was controlling my life and what was the underlying issue for my addiction and how to get sober and stay sober. The tools and the strength to take control of my life back. Being deferred showed me that I needed to work on myself some more. I needed to take the time out and reflect on finding myself. Voices helped me understand what I was missing. I got to see the impact, the damage, hurt, and loss and destruction that I've caused on my victims' lives. Hurt people hurt people. That changed my mindset. To want to be better for the lives that I destroyed, to make a difference and pay it forward. My biggest supporters are my daughter and family. Upon my release, I will be living with my sister until I can live on my own. I will continue my career as a PCA while finishing school, attending NA and seeing a therapist. I've changed myself for the better, and I pray that you see the changes I've made and will continue to keep making. Thank you for allowing me to share my letter with you.
Okay, Ms. Roman, thank you very much. So you know how this goes. You've done this before. This is a read here. We're going to
Yes.
ask questions and then we'll give you our answer, okay? Panel member Turner is going to start with the questions.
So, Ms. Roman, did you ever finish anger management?
I finished, I have 2 more classes. I finished, if I'm not mistaken, March 24th.
Great. Appreciate that you wrote out a statement and kept it focused on how you have worked on yourself through the programs you've participated in. Do you mind me asking what you learned is underlying your addiction?
I learned that through my addiction that I not only hurted myself, I was hurting a lot of people, that I was being selfish.
Well,
During my
yes, but you had said in your opening statement that you were chasing an addiction and you learned what was underlying that addiction. What was underlying your use of an abusive lean?
Grief, loss. I lost my dad and I lost my mom and I didn't know how to deal with it.
What's
I
helped
felt
you during
like
this
no one,
incarceration?
can you repeat that?
What has helped you with the grief and loss during this incarceration?
Learning that I'm not alone, that I have people that love me, that I just
Have
I
you been
felt
able to
like-
grieve those losses?
Yes,
In
a
what
lot
ways?
since I learning to talk about it. I was a person that held everything in. I thought that I didn't have someone to talk to, and being here, I have a lot of people to talk to. I got to talk to my daughter and let her know how I felt. Me and my daughter grew a bond that is out of this world. Like, I got to talk about my feelings. I usually just held everything in, and I was someone who exploded, and I don't have to do that anymore. I know how to use my words and use them very well now. So I
Well,
get
and it's also a process of learning to speak up for yourself in
For myself, and-
relationships.
and I know
And you
boundaries.
have to have some self-esteem
Yes,
to take those
self-esteem and
risks that the person you're
boundaries. I
talking
know-
to will
I know.
listen to you.
healthy boundaries. So I know how to use that now. So yeah,
But you have to take a risk personally to share your feelings with somebody and hope that that's somebody who cares enough about you that they will listen to how you're feeling and talk through it with you, right?
yes. Yes. Open-mindedness, not letting someone shut me out. Yes.
So you've managed to avoid any disciplinary issues since your hearing, and are you still working in the laundry?
Yes.
And you're involved in Defy?
Yes. Yes.
Do you have
yes.
a business in mind for yourself?
Yeah, yes, we were just talking about it yesterday. It's called Junk on You. It's a mobile candy store.
Okay.
Yes,
And you're developing a business plan for that?
yes,
So your drug of choice is pretty concerning. And this was a daily habit for you?
yes,
I read that your relapse prevention plan is NA meetings and involvement with CCAR. Is that as for you to have a coach through CCAR?
yes.
Okay. What else is in your relapse prevention plan?
NA, as soon as I leave here, 90 days, going to as many groups as I can go to, having a sponsor, leaning on my sponsor, staying around sober people, people, places, and things. I'm not going back to the same environment that I was used to. I'm staying away from people that I used to hang around with. I have a different atmosphere to go around.
Do you have anybody in your life who's living in recovery?
My sister, I never reached out to my family before. So this time around, I'm just around my family who doesn't do drugs and doesn't live the lifestyle that I was living. So
when you
this is
say your
something new.
sister, did your sister have an addiction? Did she struggle with abusive substances?
My sister never did anything. Her husband used to drink and stuff like that, and she got him to go to church, and now he's clean and stuff. But like,
Okay,
I don't
so I
have
think you
anybody.
misunderstood my question. Someone living in recovery is a person who has had and struggled with an addiction and is now living clean and sober and practicing recovery so that they don't use again. But if your sister never had an addiction,
I
she's
only
not
have an
living in
aunt. I have
recovery.
an aunt that lives in recovery. That's about
Okay.
it.
Is
Just
she
an aunt.
in the area?
Yes, she's in Meriden, and I'm going to Naugatuck. She writes me daily. She sends me like NA stuff. Like she sent me some books and stuff, and like she sent me a Bible, a recovery Bible, and she
Nice.
writes me and stuff. But
Okay.
that's the only person I have,
Okay,
to
well,
be honest.
that's one.
Yeah,
And that's, the reason I'm asking is because if you start to neglect your recovery practices, going to meetings, communicating with your sponsor, you can start to, they call it stinking thinking,
Yeah.
about picking up or using or having a drink or, and so you need to be able to call somebody who knows that struggle,
Okay.
who can take you to a meeting, who can talk you off the ledge so that somebody who knows what you're dealing with, as opposed to somebody who doesn't understand addiction and might just say, just sit down and, watch television and,
Okay.
you're having cravings. That's not going to work, Okay. So in the materials and your communication with your aunt, have you started working the 12 steps?
Yes, I've been working the 12 steps. As of now, I've been clean 34 months. So I go to NA, I go to AA. So I'm just trying to
But you do understand, Ms. Roman, that the program is built on the 12 steps.
yes.
So it's not just about attending meetings and listening to other people share.
It only works if you work it. Yes.
Yeah, but it's working your way. So what happens when you get to step 12?
I'm not there yet. I'm only basically like, I'm just like, really like trying to like focus on making amends on the people that I hurt.
So, when you get to step 12, you start all over again.
Okay.
Because you're living in recovery, and every time you go through the steps, you learn something new about yourself, or you're in a different place in your life and you see things differently when you're, contemplating the steps. So, you spoke of being a productive member of society.
Yes.
And you said in Voices you learned about the victims.
Yes.
So who were your victims?
The people that I was selling to.
Anybody else?
My community, my children. Those were my victims.
Yeah. And the families of those to whom you were selling.
Yes.
Right? Because
The people that I hurt. I mean, I was selfish that I always thought that I had a mindset before that I wasn't hurting anyone, that everyone had
a choice, right?
A choice, yes. I thought that everyone had a choice and that I wasn't bothering anybody. I was doing what everybody wanted. Everybody had a choice. Everybody did what they wanted to do.
You know
And
what that's called, Ms. Roman?
No.
Rationalizing. You were
Okay.
rationalizing
Yes,
your crimes by saying, hey, they
You're-
came to me.
You're
They knew what
absolutely
they were
right.
buying. They had the money.
And that's how, when I came to my first parole hearing, that's how I thought. I'm not gonna lie, that's how I thought. And then when I went to Voices, it gave you an outlook. I have children. And God forbid if any of my children, I don't want to get emotional, but if any of my children decided to get high and someone sold them that when I was selling, and one of my children OD'd, I'm just the greatest fault is the person that sold them that.
Well, I'm glad
When
that you
I
have this
have-
new awareness to work with, because it does a tremendous
It
amount of
makes-
harm.
It
And it
makes
fuels all the crimes that are happening in our state.
it just makes you feel worthless. And I have to, not only that, it makes you see things in a different perspective. I have to answer for that. When I meet my maker, I have to answer for all of that. So yeah, when you go to Voices, it just makes you think, it just gives you a different mindset. Like
Big picture.
yeah, and I guess as you get older, you get wiser. Maybe that's it too. Like, I never thought like this before. I always thought, like you said, I rationalized it. I never got to sit back and think and really get to like think and realize the pain and the hurt and the suffering. Like they say, hurt. I learned this in group, hurt people. If someone I love dearly overdosed, I'm never going to get to see her again. I'm never going to get to say I love her. I'm never going to get to hear her say that she loves me and she's proud of me. And I sell the same thing to these people. I'm no better than the people who killed her.
So when you talk about amends, how do you go about making amends to a community?
To be a productive member of society and help my community, to better my community.
So we hear from a lot of people that expression productive member of society, and it seems to mean something different to everyone.
I want to be able, when I can get myself together, I would love to be able to go back to my community and bring awareness and to open up a nonprofit organization and give back to my community something that nobody shared with me or gave to me to show me that it's something better out there than to be on a corner selling drugs and giving my community poison. If someone would have
Roman?
showed me a better way of living, I wouldn't have been here.
Ms. Roman, it's so much easier than that because these nonprofits already exist. You don't need to go create another one. There are, programs in every community to help people living in recovery and those who are struggling with an addiction. So I would encourage you to think about volunteering at one of these programs that already exists. With your expertise as someone with lived experience, you could help many people. You don't have to build a building and put up a sign, and these programs are already there. So what else does productive member of society mean to you?
Living a righteous life, living a good life.
What makes life good?
Working, taking care of my children, paying taxes, doing the right thing, not coming back to jail, not selling drugs, doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing as a mother, a daughter, a sister, living the right way.
Citizen?
Yes, America's citizen, voting, being
Good.
able to do things that I can't do now. Buying a house, buying a car, voting, and going on vacations, living an American dream, like not being here.
Well, I applaud your definition. It's pretty robust. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say vacation as part of a productive member of society, but it's enjoying life, right?
Yes.
When you say buying a car, paying your taxes, that means every April 15th you filed your income tax for the prior year's work, and it means every July paying your car tax bill, and all of those adult responsibilities. And I wish you much success. Thank you for talking with me.
Thank you. Okay, panel member Chance, do you have any questions?
I actually don't have any questions. I just want to make a comment that I think Ms. Romans, for her read here, did a very good job in caring for today and sharing her very important productive member of society. I think my colleague, Ms. Turner, did a great job with getting her to share what she has achieved since her last hearing. So good luck, Ms. Roman.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, panel member Chance. Ms. Roman, I just had one question. There are 5 co-defendants listed here. I'm going to say their names. Can you listen?
Yes.
Arthur Bryant, Marcus Daniels, George Nelson, Anthony Abraham, Jahia Trent. You related to any of those people?
No.
Do you have any reason to be in contact with any of these people again?
No.
That's my only question. Thank you very much. We're going to talk about your case now. You can listen. Please don't interrupt, and we'll give you an answer shortly. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Member Turner.
So Ms. Roman is before us on her second period of incarceration with a flat 4-year sentence. She was seen by a previous panel last June and appears to have complied very successfully with the recommendations of that panel to position herself to be granted discretionary parole today. I think her recovery plan is realistic. 90 meetings in 90 days is a great goal. to step out into the community with, and we'll give her an opportunity to experience a variety of people and find someone that she might ask to be her sponsor. My biggest hesitation in her case is that she was working as a personal care assistant. Was that in people's homes, Ms. Roman?
Yes.
And daily abusing the substance concoction referred to as lean.
Yeah.
And I just, it worries me tremendously to think that she was responsible for the care of somebody who is in a vulnerable position in their own home while actively abusing substances and being under the influence. That's just, for all of us who have aging loved ones in our lives, it's just a nightmare. So I'm glad that she has the workings of a recovery plan. It does concern me that, she didn't stay in the Tier 4 program, and that I think would have been a higher level of intensive work on recovery. But she wasn't up for that. So we're looking at exactly a year of discretionary parole supervision, and I'd like to provide her that support to make a successful transition back into the community, to life as a clean and sober woman.
I agree. Yeah. I find her suitable today. Panel member Chance?
So I agree with the summary. The one area I know, she did indicate that she was going to change her GED.
Mhm.
But I do hope that since she didn't do the Tier 4, in the back of my mind, being a PCA, which she said is going into people's home, and wondered whether she would consider doing something else, which should aid her on her road to recovery. But being in a situation where she would see being in the home and having access to various types of medications is concerning. So I'm hoping that she will consider completing her GED and doing something else that would take her out of
Have more opportunities, open doors, absolutely.
opportunity. And she would reconsider, not doing that for a long time.
I would like to see her finish anger management, even using today's date.
So
But that looks like it's just 4 more days, so
Yeah.
into next week.
but
With
we
a
get
half
out
house.
when she goes into when we release her.
Well, I'd rather see her do things like work on her GED than sit in an anger management class. So with 1 year of, support time, I think that's probably not her biggest need.
Her anger management completion date is the 24th. Do you think
Yeah.
that she'd be released before then if
No.
we granted today? Probably not.
I don't think so.
It's 4 days.
And we are looking at a halfway house, right? You didn't confirm her sister?
So do you think we need to put a contingency or we don't need to?
No,
It's so
we-
close. Okay.
Yeah.
And I have 4, or like I read off those 5 co-defendants and a halfway house. Is there anything else?
No. Not that I had.
Okay. Okay, so in regards to Maria Roman, inmate number 258420, I'd make a motion to grant discretionary parole on or after today's date, March 20th, 2026, with the following conditions in addition to the standard parole conditions. Halfway house placement, no contact with co-defendants, Arthur Bryant, Marcus Daniels, George Nelson, Anthony Abraham, Natea Trent. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Roman, you've been granted discretionary parole.
Thank
Alrighty.
thank you.
Yep, I wanted to say happy birthday too. I forgot to mention it. Yesterday was your birthday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
All right.
thank you. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
so much.
You're welcome.
This concludes
I will
the hearing.
not fail you. Thank you.
This concludes the hearing for Maria Roman inmate number 258.
Thank you.
Made it.
Yeah.
And that is a great birthday present. And don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because as you can see, we have another young lady up for parole, but we have actually seen her before. So we will take a flashback to the past to see her original hearing as well before we come back to the present day future to see what happens next. Now, out of this hearing, I just want to say, I mean, a little bit of context for her long record can be helpful. So this is all, Connecticut only shares 10 years of data. And the moment the 10 years is here, look at it, you can see that it's like starts right away. So she has a long criminal record. I think she'd be classified as an habitual offender. And you see it's, the failure to appear, larceny 6, failure to appear, possession intent to sell in 2020, possession with intent to sell again in 2023. So she's got like a mix of everything. And now I do believe, and I want you to put in the comment section, please, if you think that we're going to see her in the next year, will she get revoked? It's easy to say yes, she'll get revoked. I do think she will get revoked, though. She's not ready. The whole thing was really a joke. I mean, what you want to say? Okay, fine, let her go out on special parole, whatever. I don't know, fine, okay. But I love that the question was asked for once, because they almost never ask the question, which is, about what they've learned in the program. What's step 12? She had no bloody idea. She knew nothing. She has not paid attention. How can you go through your whole life inside? You know how many times she would have been asked to go, instead of prison for probation, the mandatory program. She's been through prison, she's done the program, still doesn't know what step 12 is. And she says, I'm gonna do 90-90. BS. And that's why the parole board doesn't ask them what's step 3, because it doesn't go for their agenda to call, because they needed to grant her parole. And she didn't finish the program yet. She said, I have 2 more classes. Yeah, I wonder if they should have dug around in there just to see if that was even true. The parole board, I do not believe they want to call out the lies. But when she's like, I don't know, it's like, it just shows you everything you need to know. She doesn't even care. She doesn't care for her own success. Like, that's what I want to sink in. It's not like, she doesn't care. She's not ready yet. She's not tired. I do think we'll see her back. I don't think she has it in her. I don't think she's ready. I think she'll fall back on her own ways. And you get that sign when you don't even know what, like, that means you haven't put in any at all. None. I mean, what is she doing? She's sleeping. She doesn't care. She's doing a program because they tell her to do a program, not because she actually wants to do better for herself. So yes, I do think we'll see her again in the next year. That will be my prediction. How long it takes is only just a matter of time. By the way, we have many revocation hearings coming up that are in the works. They take a long time because the revocation hearings can be spread apart, and we wait for it could be a 3-month process, but there's a lot in the works where we covered hearings just like this, and they came back on revocations after, violating just a few weeks in. So the woman can do it too, believe me. So that's my prediction. Okay. All right. Let's go into this next hearing. We're going to take a flashback to the past before we come back to the present day. Let's go.
Kathy Jatel, 321331.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Kathy Jatel, 321331. She is serving a sentence of 7 years flat for 3 counts of possession with intent to sell or dispense a narcotic. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of January 19, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan. It has been reviewed and shows the offender has completed the People Empowering People program. Utilizing the woman's risk need assessment, The offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the moderate range. Ms. Patel, this is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Good morning, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to possibly be granted parole. First and foremost, I want to say I accept full responsibility for my actions that led to my incarceration. If granted parole, I plan on becoming a better member of my community. During my stay at York, I've completed PEP program, and I'm also self-reflecting and acknowledge what I did. Excuse me. I have and will remain a better person. While at York, I was mandated to do the addiction services program, which I am on the waiting list for. I've been applying for that for now 2 years to get into that. And they keep on telling me I'm on the waiting list. During the groups, I felt positive that I got a lot out of the insight and feel the groups were a big help in my life. Thank you for your opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Patel. We are going to ask you some questions and then we will deliberate and make our decision about parole at the end. Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Poole?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Ms. Patel.
Good afternoon.
So you took People Empowering People. You said you're on the waiting list for addiction services.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And for me, it's like your substance use score is a 4. Your convictions are possession with intent. And what I have here is your past use is alcohol, pot, and crack, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me about the fentanyl.
I don't do fentanyl. I don't know how that got in my cell. I mean, I do not do fentanyl at all. I never have done it or anything else. It's only pot, alcohol, and crack.
So what did they find?
They said they found it in a allergy tab bottle. And I'm not sure if it was my roommates or not.
Okay. And you don't have any in-tax tickets in there. It's just this one July 2023 contraband day fentanyl.
Fentanyl, yes, sir.
And it was like fentanyl dust? Is that what it was? Or was it more than just dust?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Was it like fentanyl dust or was it more than just dust?
It was just dust.
That's what I thought I read. So,
I did a urine and it came out negative.
okay. I'm satisfied with that. So you have 17 past convictions. As I look at what's here, I see what looks like a lot of substance use related stuff, right?
Yes, sir.
And you said that you've done a lot of self-reflecting while you've been there. What have you reflected on?
And my use of drugs and alcohol and why I've been using. It's mostly to self-medicate. And I've been planning on getting some counseling when I get out to help with that.
Why not counseling while you're in?
I do counseling here, but they only give you an hour like every 6 weeks.
Okay. So obviously, for me, the one thing that is concerning is not having the addiction services program. Do they have you on a list for tier 2, or do they have you on a list for Maryland Baker?
I think it's for Maryland Baker, sir.
Okay. Madam Chair, I'm pretty well squared away here. I think that the Maryland Baker program is something that's really important in this case.
I hear where you're going, Mr. Paul, with Ms. Detel. So Ms. Detel, Mr. Paul is talking a little bit about, we would really want you to do an addiction services program before we would be able to consider your suitability for parole. You
Right.
also have, you do have the one disciplinary report, and you have a lot of failed community supervisions. So
Right.
the best opportunity that we would see for you is to have that program completed. Maybe if you could get into aftercare, that is up to you and the facility, but it would be very beneficial for you before we can make a determination.
Right, I figured that, and that's why I've been writing and writing, and for almost 2 years now, I've been writing to get into this group.
And your release
have a
date,
lot of
your end
time
of
left.
sentence is so
Right.
far out.
That's why,
Right, so you do have a lot of time to do it. That's good. And Ms. Page, you feel the same way?
I do. I don't, given the number of failures that she's had in the community and the length of time that she's been been struggling with addiction, I have her coming back in 2 years from today because she could use the aftercare, the clean time, no tickets, work, give her the best chances to go out into the community and be successful, in my opinion. So that's my position today. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't, go ahead. Mr. Chair.
So I'm not there.
Okay.
Because the last supervision she had was 2014. That was the VOP charge. And those 8 failures are 3 failures that would lead to progressive sanctions
Mhm.
that she was actually brought back for.
Mhm.
That's not how that would happen today. So the 2-year period, I think, is a bit much. I'd like to see what happens in a year.
Well, she discharged from parole in 2018.
Yep.
She got arrested in 2020.
Yeah.
I honestly, the way I'm looking at it is, Ms. Detel does not have a great track record on community supervision. So I think a 2-year period of community supervision is a reasonable window for her to be under community supervision, participate in treatment, and hopefully manage to finish it without any problems. I was kind of looking at it from the back end. I know that the Maryland Baker program is 6 months, that if she were to get into aftercare, maybe that's another 3 or 4 months. So I hear what you're saying, but it's a year, but possibly maybe then some recovery coach, or maybe we look at 18 months and then she gets in, comes back to see us in February 2026. It's just a little shorter than Ms. Page was talking about. It's a year for all the treatment and then maybe 6 months to see what other programs could be done, like Voices or
I'm sorry, you keep on fading out.
okay.
I can't hear you.
We're talking. We're just talking amongst ourselves. That's why you don't hear.
We're thinking out loud is what we're all
Right.
doing. So we'll
Okay.
speak up though. We will speak up. Thanks
So
for the
Okay,
thanks for the
thank you.
reminder. So I am looking at it from the back end too. What is a reasonable amount of time to be on parole in the community and get the most from it and be successful? I
but
think
for me, it's the being in the community. There are 3 returns here under her last supervision that would not have been returns.
I
So
didn't dig into
because-
what they were.
Because in 2018, that's the way they dealt with addiction. And in 2024, that's not the way we deal with addiction.
Well,
And that's
Well,
why.
and I apologize for interjecting, but I mean, honestly, the fact that she received 3 possession with the intent to sell and the court gave her 7 years it's because of the combination of the two. So I really do believe that if we really want her to be successful, she needs the time to really think about her choices when she's out in the community and work thoroughly on herself so that she does not return. So that's my position. So I mean, I did say 2 years, but I would be willing to do the February in 2026, and then she would have the 2 years if she doesn't receive any more disciplinary infractions to receive help out in the community from Parole and Community Services. That's my position.
I'll reluctantly go along with that.
okay. All right. And, you know, and that's if Ms. Detel comes back before the panel and has been able to complete, you know, addiction services, not get any disciplinary reports, and, you know, has a good release plan. So, all right. So say that.
No, I was just going to say, I don't ever recall seeing a court really giving possession with the intent to sell a 7-year sentence flat. That's just, I mean, and I've been doing this for a really long time. With the understanding, Mr. Pohl, that addiction is such a prevalent issue in our communities. I
Right,
understand
maybe-
what you're saying.
Maybe the thinking of the court, though, was that at 50%, she was eligible for parole.
Mm.
Yeah.
That could be one thought
Yeah.
That was,
there
yeah,
as
that
well.
was, yeah,
But I'm willing to go.
that was what it was.
26.
So inadequate institutional program participation and evidence of offender change. And I think that's plenty. That's fine, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so in the matter of Kathy Detel, 321331, there's a motion to deny parole for the following reason: inadequate institutional program participation and evidence of offender change. We also would like to rehear Ms. Detel's case in February 2026, recommending that she participate in the addiction services program, preferably the Marilyn Baker program, tier 4, and do any other positive programming that is made available to her and not receive any disciplinary reports. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. So Ms. Detel, we'll see you in 18 months.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And like the last hearing, we are not going to have to wait to see what happens next because the future is already here. So we are going to see if she completed her programs, if she had any write-ups, and if they will parole her. Before I do, I want to get a few things off my chest. First of all, about the last hearing, I forgot to mention this in the unpacking, which was they had a condition that she couldn't get any more write-ups, and they didn't bring up the fact that she had not received any new write-ups. They just ignored it. They never mentioned it. And I believe that is because she got new write-ups, new tickets. We see that happen quite often. They say don't do something, and if they do not get the write-ups, they'll congratulate them. Oh, you'll get parole because you didn't get any write-ups, or they completely ignore that it even happened. I hope you don't hear the noise in the background. Kids are home. I'll keep doing this. I'm not going to re-edit it. What can I do? This is what I got. I got screaming kids. What can you do? This is important to see with her. She's no Bebe Angel Aladdin, right? The woman who we just saw's parole hearing, who we're going to see the next hearing. Mike Pohl with his rose-colored glasses, literally it sounded to me like he's lying. He's like, why would we have to? It was, she got 24, then she got, but what is it? She has 3 possession of intent to distributes, 5/29/2020, February 3rd, 2021, and October 13th, 2021. 3 in 3 years, okay? She is getting that, and then she gets the 7-year charge, and this wasn't her first time at the rodeo. Sir Richard has here in this article in 2014 where she was possession with intent to distribute. Yeah, I want to go look at hotels. woman sentenced to 5 years with, and there's this whole, all this transcript. She was facing 30 years. She was going to go to trial. Stop. I can't, guys. I can't. I'll read it to you. But she's basically going to go to trial, and they're like, no, we'll do the plea deal. And then the attorney was saying that she's like totally out of control. She like showed up to her probation office with like narcotics on her, and then the police went to her home and they found like $1,500 cash and all the things to sell. And she even is on record saying she likes selling. She likes the high of making $500 a day, so on and so forth. So she is an habitual offender, a dealer. And they keep giving slap on the wrist sentence after slap on the wrist sentence. And just to hear Mike Pohl like really just try to skew the record and lobby how she's just some poor Bebe Angel Aladdin. No, she's an habitual offender who does not care about the law, who has been getting away with it, slap on the wrist after slap on the wrist. By the way, she even that 5-year sentence she got for dealing, she didn't serve 5 years. She served about 2 because she was in the news just 2 years later for getting arrested again. So, yeah, anyways, let's go see how well she does. And if she gets out, makes it for the parole. Again, leave a comment for Richard saying thank you for the research and connecting the dots. Let's go.
Kathy Detel, 321331.
Thank you. The same is being taken into consideration of the parole application for Kathy Detel, inmate number 321331. She's serving a sentence of 7 years for 3 counts of possession and intent. As of today, records reflect parole eligibility date of November 4th, 2024. There is no victim input in the case. There is an offender count has been planned. It has been reviewed. Shows that she has completed people empowering people, anger management, tier 4, and is in the intensive aftercare program. You likely interest assessment. Offender's overall score for recidivated falls into the medium range. This is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Yes, good morning. Thank you for taking the time this morning to meet with me. I want to begin by saying that I take full responsibility for my actions, which led me to be here today. Over the past year and a half, I was privileged enough to be a part of the Marilyn Baker program, during which time I completed and to partake in anger management, PEP, newcomers, tier 1, 2, and 3. Marilyn Baker has not only given me the opportunity to become part of a community, but it has given me a new perspective on how to be a better member of society. It has allowed me to do such a reflection, and I feel more confident about who I am able to become today. And I am confident in being able to reassess uncomfortable situations and how to say no. This has been a life-altering experience. I look forward to using my new skills in the real world. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Detel, very good job on your opening statement. Thank you. So
Thank you.
This is a rehear, so you know how this works. We're going to ask questions, then talk about your case and give you an answer, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my colleague, panel member Chance, is going to start with the questions.
Yes, so Ms. Detel, you've spent the last year and a half, and you've indicated that you completed the Marilyn Baker program and the anger management. And one of the things that you learned is how to be a better member of society. So can you explain to me how you're going to be a better member of society, or what that means to you?
Well, I want to be a better member of society. I'm going to partake in doing AA meetings, NA meetings, doing IOP on the outside. I have the chance to take care of my mother when I get out of here because she's got dementia and she needs somebody to watch her 24/7 now. So I have the chance to rebuild my relationship with her right now. Be able to rebuild my relationship with my whole family. My daughter, my grandson, which is 4 years old. I've only seen him since I've been in here. For him coming here, I want to be able to do things in my life with him so that I can teach him a better way of living.
Well, what else? I mean, what about, you said you're going to attend meetings and
IOP.
IOP. So can you give me a little bit more detail about that?
Yes, like, I'm gonna be hopefully watching my mother at nighttime, so
No, no,
I'll be
no.
able.
So
With the
let me
AA
stop and rephrase the question.
Okay,
So you have a drug score of 4
right,
and you've had issues with, alcohol, crack cocaine, and marijuana.
yes, ma'am.
So how are you going to maintain your sobriety? You
I'm
mentioned attending AA meetings and IP, but
And NA
give me a
meetings,
little
yes.
bit more.
I plan on doing the AA meetings, NA meetings. I plan on going, we got a C-car in our community where I live. I plan on going there. I'm getting a coach, recovery coach to help
Okay,
me
so
with.
you're gonna attend CCAR, or you're gonna participate in CCAR,
Yes,
and you're
ma'am.
gonna seek a recovery coach. What
Yes,
are you
ma'am.
gonna be doing with that recovery coach?
Ms. Kane said as soon as she found out what was going on, she would set me up with a recovery coach before I leave here. Before I leave the jail, she would set me up with a recovery coach.
So you don't know what a recovery coach does? Did you?
What they do is they help me stay sober. They're there for me to reach out to them if I have a problem. If I feel like I'm gonna relapse, I can call them, talk to them. They're there for support.
Okay, what about 12-step meetings?
That's the AA meetings and the AA meetings. I plan on going to those. They have them in our town, at the
Okay,
churches.
so AA meetings are a little different than 12-step. They're 12-step in the recovery process that you work on. Attending A meetings might be just a small part of it, but there are many other things that you have to do within the 12-step.
Right. I have to get a sponsor, which would be for the AA or NA, whichever group I decide I want to get the sponsor for. And then I go over the 12 steps with them. The will to give up alcohol and drugs, to be
Have
able
you ever
to.
done the 12-step before?
Only through here. And then AA meetings, it wasn't a 12-step meeting.
You have a pretty extensive criminal history.
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
I don't want you to be sorry. I want you to tell me, how have you changed?
I've learned that selling drugs isn't the way to go about living my life. All it did was wreck my life. I've changed into the thing that I now see that I can do better for myself. I don't need drugs or alcohol to, for me to rely on drugs or alcohol to live my life. I can live it without drugs and alcohol.
Well, what about all the people that are impacted by you selling drugs? Who are those people?
Those people were my customers that used to come to me.
So people in the community.
Yes, ma'am. The people in the
And
community.
who else?
My family. Because I ruined their lives by selling drugs. My daughters, which I've lost total contact with one of them because she doesn't want to speak with me for me being in jail until I get better off and get my life in perspective.
So it's your community, the people who you sell drugs to, their family.
Their families.
Your family.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people that I affected.
How do you intend to make amends to those people?
By doing better in my life and not selling the drugs to them. I won't be ruining their lives. I won't be ruining my life. I won't be ruining their family's life when I'm not selling drugs to them. I plan on
Oh,
doing
no,
better every month.
that doesn't, I need a little bit more in terms of,
I plan on trying to make amends to them by not selling the drugs. I'm gonna make amends in my 12-step group. I have to make amends. I know that we have to make amends to, people, that's our 5th step, I think it is. Which I'm nowhere near that. I'm still on the first 3 steps.
why is it different for you this time? Because when I look at your community release, you've only been successful once, but you've had 8 failures. So why is this time different?
Feel this time is different because I'm older and I don't have it in me to be out there running and ripping. I'm not, my health ain't the greatest. I'm just not, I want to do better for myself. I'm trying my hardest to make a with my family and stuff. Like I said, my mother has to have 24-hour care now. She's in a wheelchair. I'm trying to make it up to her by being better to myself. If I don't hurt myself by doing drugs and alcohol, I won't hurt anybody else because I won't be affecting their lives by doing them.
Okay.
It's, okay, so you did the Marilyn Baker program.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the
Newcomers
most
and-
significant thing that you learned in that program?
The most significant thing, excuse me, I got cotton in my mouth so bad. My nerves are, would be that, I can have the right to say no, and that I know how to overcome drugs by saying no, and by using my different skills, mindfulness. Let's see, what else was there? Different thoughts, how to change a movement muscle, change a thought. Just different things where I don't have to rely on drugs. I can rely on myself. My mental health is one of my problems that I have to deal with. And I was self-medicating with my mental health. Now that I'm on the right medications, I don't see the need to be able to self-medicate anymore.
Okay, so you also, what did you do in the aftercare program?
You see, Cara?
The aftercare program.
That was, we did, the Maury book, learning how to, how drugs affected us, how different drugs affect different parts of our bodies, how it affects our mindset. That I don't really need them to be able to live.
Can we just take a quick break? Mr. Chair?
Okay, we're gonna take a short break. Ms. Tell, please just give us a couple of minutes, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir. Do you want me to step out or are you?
You can stay right there. We'll be right back with you in just a minute.
Okay, thank you, sir.
We are back on the record for Kathy Patel, inmate number 321331, board member Schultz.
You'll have a chance.
So, Mr. Carroll, we're gonna go back, we left off at release plan.
I'm sorry, what was that? You're cutting in and out.
Release plan.
Okay,
Can you tell us about your release plan?
my release plan. Yes, I plan on, getting in touch with Watkins or Wheeler Group so I can get, a personal psychiatrist and a med doctor. I also want to do the IOP for intensive outpatient so that I can get some more, stuff underneath my belt to be able to stay clean and sober.
Okay,
And I want to do my NAs and AA groups, which will be at night.
okay. So I know one of the concerns that you had was when going for your intensive outpatient, that you need to get the right person
Right.
that you can get along with, but that you also know you have the option, if it's not working, that you can go somewhere else.
Right.
Okay. And I know you've been pretty compliant with your medication, and you know the same will apply when
On the
you
outside.
are back in the community. Okay. What else do you feel that you need to tell me about who do you have for support?
I've got, excuse me, I've got my parents, my mother and my stepdad. I've got my brother, Jimmy, and his wife, Heather, my niece, my nephew, my daughter. One of my daughters isn't talking to me, but my oldest daughter, is my heavy support system. She's got my grandson, so, you know, I plan on staying clean for him because I want to be able to see him. Because if I don't stay clean, I won't be able to see him.
Yeah, but you know, you also have to stay clean for yourself.
Yes, I know that, ma'am.
Okay, so that you'll be able to have positive relationships with
Right.
the people that you haven't been in touch with for a while.
Right.
Okay. Now, you had said you wanted to have a reach bed, but we don't know how that works.
Oh, you don't know how that works?
No, well, we don't know how that's going to work for you. That's a very specific request.
Uh-huh.
So,
Go ahead.
so if you do get released today, that would be something that you would have to discuss with the parole officer. But for our benefit, which halfway house program or where in the state in terms of halfway house would you like
Hartford,
to go?
Hartford or New Haven?
For stepfather. Oh, a couple days ago, okay. All right, so we know that you wanted to go to your mother and stepfather,
Right.
okay? And I was just informed by the parole officer that that was approved. But you also have to remember that your parole officer will also have to make that determination. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is there anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's it, ma'am. I really appreciate you guys taking the time today.
Okay, well, thank you for answering my question.
No problem, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Tell, the only last question I have was that you have two co-defendants, Patricia Grillo and Stafford Jones. Who are those people? Are they friends of yours?
Stafford Jones, I don't know how he got into being my co-defendant. And Patricia Grillo, she was at my house when it was raided.
Are they related to you? Do you need to have contact with them for any reason?
No, no, I don't need no contact with anybody, except for my family.
That's why I want to make sure this wasn't your daughter or
No,
somebody in your.
no,
Okay.
that was not my daughter or my stepson.
Okay. Turner.
I have no questions for Mr. Tell.
Okay, we're all done with the questions. We're going to talk about your case and deliberate and give you an answer. You can listen during this time. Please don't interrupt.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. I don't have a chance.
Okay, so this is a rehear for Mr. Tell, and what the previous panel asked her to do was to complete an addiction services program, which she did complete the Marilyn Baker program and the aftercare program. And she's been attending NANA meetings and the anger management program. In terms of the Marilyn Baker program, she did indicate that it was very helpful to her. That she now had the change, helped her to change her thoughts, that she knows that she has a right to say no, and that it taught her that she can be a better member of society. She also indicated that this time is different for her because she's older, and she really now knows the importance of a couple things, that selling drugs is not good for her community, and it's not good for her, and it's not good for the people in the community and her family. And so she has indicated that taking her medication is important for her. She understands the importance of that and does have support in the community in terms of her brother, her mother, and stepfather, and her daughter, and she's working on her relationship with one of her daughters. So I think Ms. Patel, I find her suitable. She has not received any disciplinary report, and so I'm willing to vote her. She does have a flat sentence, but I'm willing to vote her to discretionary parole.
I agree. Panelmember Turner?
I also find Ms. Patel suitable for early release. I think the 2 years of parole support and supervision will help her with stability in the community as she gets her benefits reinstated and reconnects with mental health providers, and then works to support her own family. So I'm in favor.
Great, thank you. Chance, what stipulations would you like?
For defendants, mental health evaluation and treatment is deemed necessary. I had halfway, but sponsors, but
Do you think that we should add in the halfway house if needed, or are we okay without doing that?
I think if the parole officer needs it when he does his whatever, he'll come back.
Okay, so right now it sounds like a good plan that what they've approved. Okay, with the plan. Anything else to add?
No.
Okay,
Addition.
so in regards to Kathy Patel, inmate number 321331, I'm gonna make a motion to grant discretionary parole on or after today's date, March 20th, 2026. The following stipulation in addition to the standard parole conditions: mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary. No contact with co-defendants Patricia Grillo and Stafford Jones. Do I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Okay, Ms. Patel, you've been granted discretionary parole.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
And they granted, and don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to do one final hearing after this, so please do stick around. But yeah, they granted, and I was so happy. I did not predict it. I did not see this hearing. I'm just happy that it validated what I had said before. How you see how she brought up, Ms. Chance brought up, and she got no tickets. I just want to bring that up. I promise you, I did not plan this out. It was not like, ooh, I'll sound smart by saying it. I'm just glad that that happened. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think it's a fact. I bet you the prior hearing, she did have tickets, and that's why they didn't bring it up as a negative or positive. They just ignored it. And in this case, like, you know what the executive session was for? It was like a 22-minute executive session. I think they were talking about how well she is doing up there, because in the court documents, it did mention that she was battling with like different things, you know, like things where, like the classic things that make people a little bit I don't know what to say on YouTube. So maybe they were discussing that in private. But you know, keep in mind, she's 61 years old, and her last possession with intent to distribute was only 5 years ago. She got 3 in a row: 5/29/2020, 2/3/2021, and 10/13/2021. And I'm not convinced that she is not going to go back out and do it. And like, guys, I mean, the reality is she's like an habitual offender, and the plan of going to her mother, who's probably, I mean, you would guess at least the minimum of like 80 years old. I mean, if you're being, he's, I mean, I guess we don't know how old she was when she had her, but assuming she was, probably 80 years old, and like that's gonna work? No way. No way. I don't feel good about this one either. I think we're gonna see her again, which would be pretty rare for but she's not like everybody that we see here, right? Anyways, okay. Also, the whole remember the Mike Poll with the Fetty thing? How she's like, "Oh, I don't, the Fetty, it wasn't mine. It was just the dust." And then he said, "Well, you passed the urine test, but I looked it up while we were watching, and Fetty can leave your system within 1 day. So if she had taken it 2 days before, it wouldn't show up in the test. So it's not foolproof. Anyways, hopefully we don't see her again. Hopefully it works out. Now let's jump into this hearing."
Hi, good morning, Gail Jordan. This is my first time doing this.
Can you please state your name and inmate number for the record?
Gail Jordan, 173308.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Gail Jordan, inmate number 173308. She is serving a sentence of 36 months for violation of probation with sales of narcotics as the underlying offense. As of today, records of parole eligibility of March 5th, 2026. There is no victim input case. There is a offender accountability plan that is reviewed and shows the offender has not completed any programs at this time. Utilizing the women's risk needs assessment order, the offender's overall score for recidivating falls within the moderate range. Ms. Jordan, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Excuse me, sir?
Would you like to make an opening statement on why you believe you deserve parole?
I believe that I deserve a second chance at parole. I take responsibility for my own reaction, and what I did, I know was a big mistake, and I knew I was going to have to pay for it sooner or later. I just take responsibility for my reaction, and I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much for your opening statement. So what's going to happen today is that we're going to take turns asking you questions. And then when we're done with that part, we're going to talk about your case and deliberate and then make a decision on what to do, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'm going to start with the questions this morning. So why did your probation get violated? Let's start with that.
Okay. Well, I was doing good until I came back to Stanford, and I transferred to Alabama, and I was doing good. So I came back to Stanford, and then my father passed away. My father passed away in July. At that time, I was in New Haven in a sober house. And after that, I just relapsed. I came back to Stanford and I relapsed.
Do you think that the relapse was the result of the grief and the stress of dealing with that loss?
It had part to do with it. It had a lot of part to do with it. And the place that I went, I was not using my head.
Okay, because reading the documents, it sounds like you were not doing well in probation. It says that you were violating probation because you failed to report multiple times, failed urine tests.
Just up going.
Yeah, it was just all kinds of violations of the rules of the probation, and it sounded like it was never really going well.
Excuse me, can I?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. That's what we're here for.
I didn't give up no dirty urine. I gave up that, I think it was the end.
Because the drug tests were positive for methamphetamines, several types of fentanyl, methadone, codeine, morphine. I actually looked at the I looked at those screens
Yeah.
myself because I saw that you
So
denied
how
that.
many was it? I thought I only gave up 230 and was it?
Probably, yeah, maybe it was 2. I mean, that
Oh.
sounds right. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying that you say your probation was going, when I asked you, why did you evaluate your probation? You said I was doing good on probation. But the records that I'm reading, it says that you were not doing good.
I was
Says
I
that
was
while you
doing
were
good
in
one
Alabama,
time.
you failed to report and you left to Connecticut and returned without permission from Alabama.
Right, but they didn't charge me with nothing there.
Violation of probation is what the charge is, yeah.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm new at this. I never been
Yeah, no,
to
I'm just explaining it because I had read in the documents that you really weren't acknowledging that you did poorly on probation. That's why I'm asking this line of questions. I want you to understand that you were not doing well on probation. These rules are set up
Okay.
for a reason. These rules that they have. So if you were granted parole, you're going to have just as many rules. So that's why we need to make sure you understand that these are not
Yes.
These rules are not flexible. You can't
Right.
fail drug tests. You have to report when they say.
Right.
You have to live where they say. If they say you gotta live in Alabama, you gotta live there. If you want to come back, you have to get permission.
Right. Well,
You understand those things?
Yes, I know. I understand much better now. I'm
Okay.
more wiser.
Okay.
Being here teach you a lot too.
All right. You have a DOC drug and alcohol score of a 4, and 5 in Connecticut is the highest. So you're at a high. They gave you a high rating for a substance abuse. Yeah, it's very high. So it's concerning to me that you haven't completed the addiction services program that is on the offender accountability plan, the OAP. Have they told you that you have to take an addiction services program?
Addiction service, no.
They haven't talked.
What OAP? I don't.
Okay. Did they tell you that you have programs that they want you to take?
I've been in here, right?
Yeah.
Or outside?
No, in the prison.
Yeah, I started going to MAC and I went to another I took a couple of them.
Okay.
And I have MAC program is once a week. That's like a NA.
Okay.
For the methadone.
Yep. So they do some counseling with you too. They talk to you about what's.
Yeah, they do one-on-one and they do counseling. Yes.
Alrighty. Well, you haven't taken a tier program. Have they talked to you about tier 2 or tier 4? Marilyn Baker, have you heard those
Nobody
things?
talked to me about that, and you have to sign up for that. I mean, you have to have approval for that, and no one talked to me about that.
It's concerning because not only is your your score of 4, but you have a history of drug charges, convictions going back into, I'm looking at, it looks like 1989 that started. Can you believe it?
1989, yes.
Yeah.
I think that was the first one.
Yeah, that's hard to hear, I'm sure. I mean, that's a long time ago.
It is a long time ago.
And here we are again, I mean,
I'm trying to make this my last time.
Yeah.
Not just to be saying it, but I will try better.
Okay. How do you think you've changed since you've been in prison during this time? Why are you different now than you were when you were out?
Staying here for this 7 months was different from last time I was here. It was like different. Last time I was here because I just wanted to get out. But this time, and talking to my daughters is making me, like, she keeping me up on my toes, and she's telling me that I need to do better and do what I gotta do, because I have grandkids, and I have one grandkid that my son died, and she's left with some girl of her mother friend that's taking care of him. Why I could be out there doing that for him.
This affects a lot of people. Yeah. I mean,
It
it's a
do
ripple
affects a lot
effect.
of people, because I have
Yeah.
a lot of grandkids.
They need their grandmother, to be
Yes,
available to them.
And I'm good with my family. They don't deny me at all. I'm good with my family, real good.
Sounds like your daughter wants to help you and wants the best for you and wants us to be over this lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah, and I want that too.
Okay. I read something that you talked about working in an after-school program when you get out.
Yes.
You done something like that before?
I work with, it's like companion, I did companion before, and it's something just like babysitting, like the kids after school. It's like an after-school program for 4 hours a day and 3 days a week. It's 3 days a week or 4 hours a day.
I'm just with your record, we'd be surprised if school would give you that responsibility, but maybe, I don't know.
You don't even have to fill out an application.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, my biggest concern, ma'am, is that you haven't taken the drug addiction services treatment program, that I think that you need so that you can just get a better understanding of
Take them outside.
Yeah, how to deal with stress so that, you talked about the death of your family member. Other things happen, like you lose a job or relationships.
Yeah.
You have difficult time with relationships or with family, whatever it is, those kind of stressful things. We often hear
I
people
think it
say.
was mostly with family, losing a lot of family month after month.
It's not easy. We all go through those things, but you have to find a way to deal with all of that without turning to addiction or relapse,
Mm-hmm.
and then ending back up in the criminal justice system.
I don't get over.
Yeah. And your record on supervision in the past is not good. You've had 7 opportunities on supervision. You failed at 5 of them in the past. Yeah, 5 out of the 7, you had violations of probation or some kind of new crime or whatever, during the time you're on probation, including this case. You picked up another charge. Where the underlying charge was sale of narcotics. You violated your probation through all those things that we talked about. Right. Well, I'm going to see if my colleagues have questions for you, and then we'll go from there and see what we're going to do today. Panel member Turner.
Good afternoon, Ms. Jordan.
How you doing?
When you met with Officer Bosford, he interviewed you in preparation for today, and then he wrote a report for us. And I do want to acknowledge that you were only sentenced in the middle of January. So that's why your offender accountability plan doesn't get written until after you're sentenced. And that was signed on January 27th.
Mm-hmm.
So we're, talking about a little over a month and a half ago. When you met with Officer Bosford, you said you didn't like being in the MAT and Houses of Healing program because you didn't feel that you were benefiting from listening to other inmates talk about themselves.
Yes,
do you remember
that's
that?
true. And the things that was going on, I know I'm not supposed to talk about the group anyway, but the things that was going on in the group, it was mostly like a couple things come there to see, it wasn't in the MAT group, it was in the other group that the couples there just to see their girlfriend. And the thing that was going on in the group, I didn't like.
Okay.
And when I do be out, when I be out in the community, when I go to groups, I do like one-on-one groups.
Well, those aren't groups if they're one-on-one, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I got to get used to it. I just got to get used to it. I would get used to it.
Well, if you go into thinking that you can learn something from everyone you listen to, then you pay attention and find that morsel, that little bit that you can hang on to and use for yourself.
Right, I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah, because what made me really pay attention to that statement was the fact that you want to do NA when you get out. And I'm like, but that's people sitting around talking, and if you didn't like it in MAT and Houses of Healing, why would you like it
Oh,
in
because
NA?
they don't do that in
Well, you explained. Yeah.
They didn't do that. What I saw going on in one group, it wasn't done in the other group.
Right. I heard you say that.
So
that was helpful.
I like the MAC group. I liked that one. I liked that one. But the other one, no.
Yes. I understood what the issue was for you. So let me just talk to you a minute about parole, because you were end of sentence in July. So if you were granted parole, your parole officer has arrest powers. So if you stop reporting or you give a dirty urine, you're going to be violated and brought back to the facility to finish the sentence. It's not this running and dodging of probation that you've been doing, playing fast and loose. You said that your actions didn't put others in harm's way.
I didn't, right? I'll wait till you finish. Sorry.
And that concerned me because, if you are selling, as you were, crack cocaine out in the community, you are harming people. You're not only harming the person you're selling it to, who's choosing through, the pull of addiction to buy from you, but everybody in that person's family that needed that money to pay the rent or to buy food for the kids, so there is a lot of harm through the actions of selling drugs in the community. Would you agree with that?
I said that?
Uh-huh.
I have short-term memory loss, but I don't remember that one. But I believe what you're saying is true. I don't remember saying that, but if I did say that, I apologize for that, because that takes a lot. Because me, before I started selling it messed up my life. It took for me. So I already understand that.
Okay, that's good.
So I understand exactly what happened.
Right.
Yes.
Officer Bosford asked you who has been affected by your criminal actions, and you said no one. And then you went on to say that you don't put others in harm's way. So I just wanted to check in with you about that, and because it is important to appreciate the big picture.
What I'm talking about with that is I don't bring the drugs around my kids, like putting my kids in the hallway. I didn't bring drugs to my house where my kids was. That's the hallway I'm talking about. But okay, it is.
But you did say that no one was hurt by your criminal actions.
Yes, there is hurt by that. There's hurt, and I'm sorry for saying that. And I don't remember saying it, but I'm sorry for that. Because there is hurt by it.
So
even my family.
Do you intend to work or are you able to work when you're back in the community, even part-time?
Yes, part-time, because I'm 64 and I get Social Security, so I'm able to work part-time.
Right, but
and I'm planning on working.
Important, to keep you engaged in your community and interacting with other people, and to supplement Social Security, because it may not be enough to live on, since
it's not enough to live on.
Well,
so I know I would have to work.
It's based on what you've paid into the system in the past, and with the activities in your record going back to 1989, there were probably some gaps in employment.
Yes, you're true. That's true.
Yeah.
That is real. That is true.
Right. I want to make sure you're aware that you have traffic-related warrants in New York and Alabama.
What?
Traffic-related warrants. You must have been driving wrong in those two states. So when you're out in your stable, you should look into clearing that up.
Oh, and how do I do
New
that?
York
Just
was
go.
a DUI. New York was a DUI, not just a traffic.
So what do I do? Call them?
You need to call the courts and look into
Okay.
it. And you
All
can
right.
start by asking your parole officer, if you're granted today, to give
Okay.
you some help in how you take care of that.
I will.
You don't want to get tripped up. You still have family down in Alabama. All right,
Right.
Ms. Jordan, I wish you much success. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Member Chance, do you have any questions? Okay.
No, I'm understanding more. And the big mistake I made by saying I didn't put nobody in harm's way. I regret saying it.
I think you've cleared it up. I accept your explanation for that. Maybe you were thinking of when he was talking about the violation of probation, not reporting. I don't know. So we're done with the questions. We're going to talk about your case now. You can listen. Please don't interrupt during this time. And then we'll come back and we'll let you know what's going to happen.
All right, thank you.
So Ms. Jordan is here. She's 64 years old, as she mentioned. She's got a violation of probation with an underlying charge of sale of narcotics. She was selling crack, it sounds like. She had problems with her probation. They had sent her to Alabama and she wasn't reporting, and then failed drug tests. Came back to Connecticut without getting permission, and the same kind of thing continued until they arrested her. She this new flat sentence of 36 months. Looks like her end of sentence is July 4th of 2027, according to my records. She hasn't taken a TIER program, but she has been participating in the MAP program and going to the groups, even though some of the groups that she's been attending, she doesn't like them necessarily, the way they're run, it sounds like, but she has plans to go to AANA when she gets out. I saw some information that she wants to work part-time, go to church. Sounds like she has support from her family. She talked about her daughters in the community, wanting her to do better so that she can be around for their grandkids.
She was engaged with MCCA in 2024 while she was on probation and came back into the facility in September 25.
I would have liked to have seen her do a TIER program, but like we discussed, her sentencing was just in January. So up until that point, it's difficult to kind of get into those kind of programs until you're sentenced. But she does sound good today, and she could probably use the support. She wants to go to a halfway house. So, I would be open to granting her discretionary parole today. I'd like to hear from my colleagues, though. Member Turner?
I agree with everything that you've said. It is, one of these conundrums because it's a flat sentence and we're talking about a year and 3 months. Bless you. And, where is it better spent? Creating stability and structure for her life, out in the community when she doesn't have a sponsor to go to, or inside taking programs that we would hope should benefit from. But, so I'm in favor of discretionary parole today.
Okay, thank you. Another chance?
Yeah, so, my concerns is the fact that participated in programs, but like them, only wants to do one-on-one. And the only factor that's leading me to provide discretionary parole is because it's a flat sentence. And I hope she knows that for me, it's a gift today, considering that she has not done good in the community. She seemed to do whatever she wants to do without reporting, and then was not very honest about, her failed drug screens. But I do hope that because it's a flat sentence, that the offer that she has to go out and participate in community programs. And you've outlined to her that if she doesn't, they bring her right back.
Yeah, I think I agree. She's gonna be on a short leash here with
Yeah.
reporting.
I do agree with all of that.
Shorter than she's used to.
Yeah.
I do want to point out for the record, while we've referred to Miss Jordan as having a criminal history that dates back to 1989, when I looked at her rap sheet, she does have 3 significant periods where she wasn't involved with the criminal justice system. One was 10 years long, one was 5 years long, one was 15 years long. So it isn't that, she's been, this entire time struggling with, being law abiding. There were many instances where she lived in a positive way out in the community in the past. So you
And
deserve
most
credit.
things-
This was like 202 to 217. Because I had written, and that's 15 years.
Yeah,
so.
I had 15, 10, and
Yeah.
5.
It's all the same struggles with substance abuse, addiction, and I don't see any violent crime anywhere
No,
in my review of this.
no.
So I think we're all in the same place. Let's talk about the stipulations for parole. I had halfway house, mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary.
I have those as well.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. In regards to Gail Jordan, inmate number 173308, I'm gonna make a motion to grant discretionary parole on or after today's date, March 20th, 2026, following stipulations in addition to the standard parole conditions: halfway house placement, and mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Jordan, I hope you listened to everything that we said.
Yes, I did.
Have you been on parole before? Not
No,
probation.
never.
Okay, it's a little different than probation. You're not gonna have all these failed drug tests and not reporting and stuff like that. If they tell you to do
Right,
something, just do it and you'll be fine.
Just do it. Yes, yes.
Okay?
And can I ask you something
Go ahead.
about the reach bed?
Go ahead, say that again. Oh, the reach bed?
The reach
Yeah,
bed, yes.
yeah, so we just put you in a halfway house. So that's something you have to discuss with the counselor or with the people that are gonna discuss your exit from the facility. That's
Okay.
nothing that we can make a decision on.
Okay,
We've had other people ask us those questions too, and we don't have any say in any of that. We put you down for a halfway house. If it doesn't work out where you don't get the reach bed and you want to go somewhere else, you need to tell the parole officer who it is that you want to live with, and they have to check it out, okay?
okay. All
We
right.
wish you the best of luck. Good luck.
I thank you guys very much. Have a good day.
And they granted, and I mean, like, let's be real. Are we really going to say they should deny her? It's like, letting all these chomos out. Okay, so what's the worst that she'll do? She'll get revoked, I guess. I don't know if we'll see her again. I mean, it was a horrible parole hearing. She completely failed it. Nothing she said, was true. There was no insight. There's no desire to actually change or improve. I don't think it'll be any different than the prior hearings that we saw. And it really is crazy when you look at her long record. It's so, again, remember, Connecticut only shares 10 years and it starts right up. So breach of peace in 2017, unknown charges, failure to appear, sale of narcotics in 2020. She's given 5 years probation, 3, but it was all suspended. It's all suspended. And she doesn't need to serve any of it, right? And then failure to appear, Then violation of probation. This is what we're saying. She was only just sentenced. Violation of probation, violation for failure to appear, use of drug paraphernalia. So I don't know if this is what violated her probation and what she's serving for. But if you look at everything, it's like I don't know. It's what can you say? I mean, Saoirse has more of a breakdown in here. Let's see. So pled guilty to felony violation of protection order. So she has more than that. In arrested on 9/26/2021, pled guilty to felony violation of a protection order, sentenced to 1 year, suspended after 6 months. Remember, she already owes 5 years. Probation 3 years on 2/8/2022, then charged for violation of probation on 5/22/2024, sentenced to 66 months, suspended. Probation 1 year, then charged with failure to appear first degree on 8/20/2025, second violation of that. Probation was terminated on 1/16/2026, unconditional discharge. And then arrested again on 7/20/2025 to use of narcotics and paraphernalia. I mean, it's nonstop. So like to think that she's going to do well actually doesn't make any sense. She was just arrested 7/20/2025. So she's not, it's not like she's aged out. She's not ready to get better. I think we will see her again in a revocation hearing. I mean, look, if we don't see her in a revocation, it doesn't mean she's, an angel. It's possible that what happens is, they get infractions, they get this, they get that, but we don't see them up in front of the parole board. They can mess up a lot before they ever get pulled in front of the parole board. So the question really is she going to mess up that bad? And will the parole officer say, you know what, enough is enough? I don't know. That was we saw wild cases. These are all weird cases, right? Because it's like the women were, past, you would think past that age, but they're all habitual offenders. And we saw 3 today. How many of them do you think we'll see again for a second time? Do you think we'll be 3 of 3? I think at least 2 of 3. I do. So, when they come back, I'll read your comments in the comment section. So make sure to leave those comments in the comment section. And I don't know, if you want to see more like this, let me know. But for now, I will let you go.